Hello, hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to another episode of the Worthiness Codes. I'm your host, Jaclyn Francis, and as always, it is so beautiful to be in this space with you today. I have a really personal and fun episode to share with you. This is something that I haven't talked about on here before, but my intention behind opening this side up about me is to reflect back to you that if you have a purpose in life, if you have a calling, if you feel like you are meant for more, if you feel like you're meant to do something of great purpose, there's a reason for it and it will never leave you. While also showing you that there is no such thing as failure and everything is a lesson and an opportunity for growth. So, hopefully that resonates with most of you, and I hope you enjoy today's episode. So, this all took place back in 2019, I want to say, and I was 28, 29 years old. I was just starting my spiritual awakening. This was the time of my Saturn return. I just knew I was meant for more in life, and I wanted to start exploring myself more deeply and really connecting to what I felt most connected with, and that was spirituality. So I started listening to spiritual podcasts, I started meditating, I started dabbling in crystals. I got my first Reiki session, which led me to actually become certified in Reiki level 1 and Reiki level 2. And it was after that, I think it was after my first certification. They were very close together, only a couple months apart. But after my first certification, I received a download from the divine of a business I was meant to start. Pausing for a second. The journey I'm explaining now is similar to the journey I just went on this last year. So, as I mentioned in the beginning of the episode, when there is a deep calling within your soul, if you're meant to do something, if there is deep purpose within your mission here, it's for a reason and it will never miss you. When something's meant for you, it will never miss you. It will shift and it will evolve as you shift and as you evolve. But know that if in this moment you feel called for more, if you feel called to a specific purpose or not even understanding what your purpose is, and of course, we all have a purpose. It doesn't have to be something that brings in money. It doesn't have to be linked to a career. It can be being a mom. It can be being a wife. It can be just making an impact on people through showing up with a smile. It doesn't matter, to make that very clear. But if you feel like you're meant to have a purpose and share that purpose with others, it's because you do. And it will not miss you as long as you give yourself permission to tap into it, to receive it, to make space for it to come through and for it to be known. But back in 2019, when this journey first started and I received this download, I received the information of this business idea that I was meant to start. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the term download, essentially what this is energy that comes through as information that you receive that's not from your own mind. It's a higher vibration. It's of, you can say, another lens of consciousness from another dimension, however you want to look at it. I don't necessarily know, but it's something greater than yourself. It can also be from your higher self, from your oversoul, right? We don't have to attach to what it actually is, but just know it's outside of your human mind. So I received a download of the business I was meant to start. And the business idea was bringing Reiki healers in home to people's houses for healings within the Southern California region and making it very easy for people to book through an online platform. So I was like, okay, this is interesting. I thought I was going into Reiki to become a Reiki healer, but now I know I'm going into my level 2 with the intention to start this business. So anyway, I started the business. And I started out really in my center, being so led to be where I was at, to share this business with others. I was stepping into this role as an entrepreneur. I was building a deck for investors. I hired a lawyer. I opened up a C Corp. I was going to go after investors. I actually pitched investors. I was hiring people to do my marketing, my website. I brought on healers to the platform. I had a beautiful website and expanded from Los Angeles to Orange County to San Diego. It was amazing. thing, right? It was this beautiful idea and it was coming to life. But at some point on that journey, I started getting way too into my masculine. And when you're in your masculine, you become in this, you move into this energy of hustle. You move into this energy of go, go, go. You move into this energy of the ego and of the mind. And I actually became really unhealthy during this process. I started taking Adderall. I was smoking a vape. Like this was during the height of COVID too, when we launched. So things were just not good. They started out so pure, so in alignment of my greatest and highest good with the best intention of my heart and of my soul. And it quickly pivoted into something of the ego. And that was due, of course, to myself. I will never blame anyone else. But through the people that I was surrounding myself with and seeing how they became successful and how they were making money and the things that they were telling me to do, right? So, anyway, I realized that probably a year after launching the business, having some success, not much. I mean, I did a friends and family round and I invested a lot of my own money. So all in all, I put probably about 50 grand into that business and made nowhere near that. It was a loss on loss on loss on top of the day. But when I decided to stop that business, I mean, I knew I had to. I had an actual breakdown, which of course was from taking Adderall. And Adderall is the worst thing for you if you've had any experience with it. It's absolutely awful. It's literally meth, actually, and it wreaks havoc on your nervous system. And as someone who is so sensitive to energy, who's really in tune with themselves and their body and connecting to the divine, me taking Adderall, even in the smallest amount, just was not good. So I had the nervous breakdown and I knew that I had to change. I knew I had to change something. So to put a timeline on this, again, this all started when I got my Reiki. This was back in 2019. The business launched in 2020. I had this breakdown in 2021 and I started microdosing after the breakdown. I quit Adderall and I started microdosing. And on the microdosing journey, I had my first big awakening. Big awakening. Now, this is a story. I haven't shared this before, but I'm going to now. And I promise you this will all come together. So just go on this journey with me. I hope that it all makes sense. It's one of those stories that I'm just like, I don't even know, but let's just go with it. So I started microdosing. And like I said, I had my biggest awakening. I woke up one day and I had severe stomach pains. So I went into my bed and I went to go do some self Reiki. And all of a sudden, my higher self came through and basically said, this is a spiritual initiation. You are going to get incredibly sick, but just know that you are divinely protected and you are going to be okay. So I was like, okay. And then I started channeling light language. At the time, I've never heard light language. I didn't know what it was. I described it as tongues when this experience was all said and done to my mentor that I was working with at the time, who then told me it was light language. But anyway, I started channeling light language and I was in a whole other dimension. And when I finally came back into my body, I got up and I started purging. And I could not touch my body. I could only lie on the floor. That was the only place I felt comfortable. I started also doing a lot of lower spinal movements. And there were weird things happening with the speaker that was in the bathroom. It was just making a weird noise. My phone wasn't connected to it. My partner's phone at the time wasn't connected to it. It was bizarre. So what I later found out too from my mentor was I was also having a Kundalini experience. And so this was a day, this was a journey. The next day, I knew I had to go to the hospital. I ended up going to the hospital. Turns out I had appendicitis. I had to go get surgery to get my appendix removed. And I came out of that surgery and I told my partner at the time, I said, write this down. I had a council meeting within this golden white room with beings who told me my mission, and that's all I remembered. And after that awakening, I said, you know what? I know that I am meant for more. I know that I am meant to step into my gifts and to not just be taking the back seat and running the business that I started as the CEO, as the founder, as, wearing all the hats besides actually helping people heal. So I asked for the remembrance of how I'm meant to help others. And I had a huge transmission. That was the first time light language came back online, put a timestamp on it, I think 6 months after that initial experience. And I said, okay, I'm going to take 30 people free of charge to do sessions with, to just practice. And on the third session, I went from doing Reiki to then allowing the light language to come through and seeing how the light language was helping others heal, just like it did for myself. And a few months after doing that, I knew it was time to officially close the business that I started. It was very emotional. It was a lot of emotions because in the moment I felt like I failed. In the moment I felt like this was a waste of resources, of time, and I felt like I let other people down as well. But that only lasted a little bit, and I was able to shift and just realize that I gained so much from the experience and that I knew I made an impact on the people that I was meant to impact. I made a lot of beautiful connections along the way, some of which are lifetime friends that I am so close with today. And it was worth it. And I wouldn't have changed it whatsoever. So when I closed that business, I allowed myself to deepen my practice within my healing business. And I started working for myself. Of course, I still had a corporate job throughout all of this. I haven't left my corporate job. And it allowed my soul to really expand. It really gave myself permission to explore this quote unquote weird side to me that I never experienced before in this lifetime. I knew these gifts that I held were ancient gifts of my soul. Of course, your gifts that you hold are part of your soul and it's for a reason, right? So it was really fun to explore this. And I was learning how to embody this version of self. And it was really difficult at the time because I was pretty much in the in between of the old version of Jaclyn and this new version of Jaclyn that was emerging. And I didn't really know where I was supposed to be. And I know I talked about this in another episode talking about spiritual identity, but I was really struggling here. I didn't know how to show up. But the moral of all of this and where I'm getting to is my most recent awakening. My most recent awakening started July of 2023. And that most recent awakening brought me back into my purpose, back into why I was here. I was ready to fully receive the mission that I'm here on. I was fully ready to embody it. And I wasn't able to hold the frequency of it at the time. So now hindsight is 2020 as always, right? But looking back, I realized that I had to quote unquote fail. I had to be uncomfortable in this new version of self. I had to go through all of the lessons, all of the twists and turns along the way to gain all the aspects of self that I now hold, while this last year really awakening and cracking my soul open on a whole new level to be able to actually step into and embody this new version of self where it was never fully embodied before. So July of 2023, this is when this recent awakening started. October of 2023 was when I received the download of my purpose, the download of the Worthiness Codes podcast, and the work that I am stepping into as well to teach. So, looking back, just as the first business started with a download, just as the first business started with the aligned action and the deep knowing that I'm meant to do something with in the spiritual world, right? Within the energy world, within the healing world, this new purpose, this new mission, this new business is the same. The difference is that I went on a very deep journey to actually align to it. And now I'm ready for it. Whereas before I wasn't ready for it. Now I'm ready for it. And though, of course, there's still work to be done, there's still twists and turns to take, there's still the journey, right? It's all about the journey. When you are meant for more, when you're on a path where you're starting your own business, where you're going all in on yourself, when you're aligned to the things that you're doing and how you're showing up in the world, the one thing that will stay true is that you cannot see the path. You cannot see what's next. You have no idea what's coming, but it feels right. And everything just falls together. And it's the breakthroughs after the breakthroughs that get you from point A to point B. That's how you know that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, that you're doing what feels good for your soul. It's because you just know. You just know, and no one can talk you out of it. No one could ever talk you out of it. So, all of this shows me and shows you that divine timing, divine orchestration, divine encounters, everything when you're on this path is led by the divine. It's led by the universe. It's led by God, by source, your higher self, whatever you want to view it as. It's led by something so much bigger than your human mind, than your ego. Because the pieces will fall together when they're supposed to, right on time when they're supposed to. This all happened to me, this latest awakening all happened to me right before I turned 33, which is your Jesus year. So I know it was right on time. It will happen in the way that it's supposed to happen. It might not show up how you envision it to. I would have never in a million years have thought that I would be doing the work that I am stepping into now. And lastly, there's no such thing as failure. Like, I learned so much, even though I put so much money into that. It's money is energy. It's going to come back tenfold. Like it doesn't go to waste. I gained so many connections, so much value, so much wisdom from that quote unquote failure that I now know how to create this new business, that I now know what to do and what not to do. And actually, the last thing is what's meant for you is never going to miss you. What's meant for you is never going to miss you. It may look different. It may come at a different time. You may receive it and then lose it, right? That's what happened to me, because that's what happens with manifestation. If you manifest something, you can receive it, but the ultimate manifestation is being able to actually hold on to it, making it a part of your existence, making it a part of yourself and your life. That's the ultimate manifestation, because there are so many times when people receive manifestations and then they lose it. And I've experienced that. I lost all of it because I wasn't ready. I know I'm a powerful manifester. I know I can pull anything I desire into this existence, but can I actually hold on to it? And learning that lesson, learning that I was not ready to hold on to that, shows me that you're meant to let go. You're meant to let go of the control. You're meant to just allow the divine to do its work, and everything will fall together in the way that it's supposed to. But what's meant for you will never miss you. So never try to control something. Never try to push from a place of ego. Never try to do something because there's this urgency to do it. Time is an illusion. When something is yours, when something is your gift to this world, there is no timestamp on it. And abundance is infinite. Abundance is infinite. When I launched that company back in 2020, because it was a download, there were other people within the field that received a similar download. So there were a lot of businesses that were launching that had a similar business idea than that I did, because it's a download from a higher energy, from a higher frequency. So other people received it as well. So you should never hold scarcity. You should never look at someone or something as your competition. There are more than enough people to reach, to impact. There's more than enough money to receive. I mean, we print money, for God's sake. Like, there's more than enough of it out there. So never feel like you have to be urgent. And that's a lesson I've learned so many times. Launching something too soon or speaking about something too soon and then being like, wait a minute, this is not the right time. It's not ready yet. So never move from a place of your ego, because when it's meant for you, it's never going to miss you, and it will be a part of your journey no matter what. And I am living proof of that. Though I can't sit here and say that I am fully making money from this new business, that this new business is even up and running. It's still very much in the birthing process. It's still very much in creation mode. But I know that I trust myself enough to know that this is what I'm meant to do. And if it changes and evolves and pivots along the way, I'm trusting it's for a reason, because I can see that the other way, in trying to control it, the other way in trying to push towards a specific goal, didn't work out for me. But I just hope that this episode and me sharing this is a vulnerable share. It really is. It may not appear that way, but it is. For me to sit here and say, I failed at something that I thought I was meant to do, something that I got friends and family involved in, something that my ego probably was way too big for at the time. It's a vulnerable share. And I, again, wouldn't change it for the world. I really, really, really wouldn't. But yeah, things are going to be different this time, because you learn and you grow and you surrender and you allow and you trust and you take aligned action and you listen to your soul and you follow the breakthroughs and the guidance from the divine. And to a lot of people, that sounds absolutely crazy. That sounds absolutely crazy. But for women in business, women who are here to lead in spirituality, lead with their hearts, I know that they agree and that they view this all the same way. It's all about aligned action. It's a healthy balance between your masculine and feminine. The creation is heavily in the feminine, right? Receiving the information, embodying the information, and actually taking aligned action and creating and birthing is more in the healthy masculine. So it's a dance between the both, and it's a healthy, healthy balance. So know, again, that if you feel called to doing something, it's for a reason. Allow yourself to do it. And if you fail, quote unquote fail, it's just growth. It's just a lesson, and allow yourself to reflect and take what the lessons are and apply them to your soul's evolution and apply them to, trying again. Don't give up. Don't give up, because you are meant for more, especially if you have that knowing deep within you. You are meant for more, and it will happen when it's supposed to, and it will happen in the way that it's supposed to. So I love you. I love you. I love you. Until next time. Bye.